Hello, my name is Carl Surrey and this is a video tutorial for two Facebook groups, Fans of Serif Software and Affinity Designer and Photo Group. Now the title of this tutorial is Beginner's Look at Channels Part 1. I'm hoping to make some future ones when I learn a bit more about how to use channels, and that is what I'm doing at the moment. I'm trying to learn more about using channels. And I've been watching some serif videos, which I will add links to in the description for this video. But I have a feeling they're sort of for more advanced users. I mean, I am learning a lot from them, but at the moment some things are sort of going over my head and I need to do it a bit more slowly. So what I'm going to try and do with the channels is convert this picture of Venice, which I got from Pixabay.com, a royalty-free website, and I will add a link to this particular image if you want to use this, but you could just use your own image if you want. And what I want to do is just change the whole feel of the image by changing the sky into this sort of gold and yellowy colour. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to duplicate this background layer. You don't necessarily have to, I don't think, but I'm going to do this so I keep it protected. So I'm just going to duplicate that by right clicking on the background and coming to duplicate, or you can press Ctrl and J. So I'm just working on this copy of the background layer. In fact, I can just turn off and hide the bottom layer. I can just use it for comparison later on. So if I come down to the bottom here, in this bottom panel here we've got Navigator, Transform, History and Channels. So if I click on the channels, at the top you have the 4 composite channels, which is red, green, blue and alpha, and then you have background red, green, blue and alpha, and then a pixel selection layer that has 2 buttons, which is for a mask and to invert. Haven't looked into those yet, that's probably for a later video. If you click on one of these composite layers, the image will turn black and white, and I'm not 100% certain whether this is picking the red pixels and just picking the lighter ones, making them look lighter or darker. I'm not 100% certain, but if I click on the blue, for example, whereas I know that the sky was a deep blue, if you click on this and it goes black and white, that blue becomes almost white. So I'm guessing it sort of inverts the colors. The color that you are clicking on becomes lighter. But I could be miles out there. Like I said, I am learning this as I'm going along. So I'm going to click on the composite red layer, and I'm going to right click that, and then I'm going to click on Load to Pixel Selection. So we have, I don't know quite how and why what it selects what it does select, but it has made this selection, and once it has made that selection, I'm going to right click that layer again and then create spare channel. And if I drag this down now, below the pixel selection we have this spare channel, and I'm just going to rename this. So I'm going to rename this spare channel blue. Sorry, this was the red one I did, wasn't it? Red. I'll just press Ctrl and D to get rid of that selection. I'll then click on the composite blue layer, right click, and then again load to pixel selection. As you can see, it's selected different pixels in the image, and I'm going to right click that again and then create spare channel, and then I'm going to rename this one spare channel blue. I can press Ctrl and D now to get rid of that selection. So now the pixel selection layer is now blank because I've sort of stopped the selection and there's no image in there at the moment. So I know this may be a long-winded way of doing it, and there may be better ways of doing this, but I am still learning, so bear with me. Now if I right click on this and again load this to selection, it will have the same selection area that was originally selected. And if I right click on the blue one and add to the pixel selection, it will combine those two selected areas into the pixel selection layer. And if I right click on that and I again click on create spare channel, I can now press Ctrl and D to get rid of the selection area, and I can delete that red spare channel and the blue spare channel, because that spare channel now is a combination of the two selections that I made before. So I can click on this reset button up here to bring back the full color version, and what I'm going to do now is open the adjustments, and I'm going to open the HSL adjustment, and then I'm going to right click on this new spare channel that I made, and then the bottom option is load to HSL shift adjustment. Now whichever tool you open, I know that it will be like if I'd open levels, for example, it would be load to levels, or if I opened one of the other like brightness and contrast, it would be load to brightness and contrast. But as I have a HSL open, it is load to HSL. So that selection from this spare channel has now been sort of added to and is sort of masked, I'm guessing is the proper word, into the HSL adjustment. So the adjustments I make now should only really affect the areas that were in the spare channel. So what I will do is I will drop the hue down to -180, which is right down this end of the scale, and I'm going to push up the saturation to 70%, or thereabouts. Come on, there you go, 70%, and then I'll just click on the X. So if I come back to the levels, the layers, I didn't mean to make that levels. Let me get rid of that. If I turn my bottom layer back on and I select both of those top layers and turn them off, that was the start, and that is what the image now looks like, using the channels to make some alterations. I'm not 100% certain, if that's the way you should be using the channels to do this sort of thing, but this is how far I have got in my learning process of what you can do with channels. I hope it has been instructive to others, and thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hopefully see you in the next part.